Good day and welcome to Predators Proclivity, where we look at data from the season for the NHL Nashville Predators and make comments upon it. I am your host, Preston Proctor. Yes, we are on fast speed today. Not really. Anyway, so welcome back. It's been about a week, I guess. I haven't done a podcast in a week. The Preds played 2 in Sweden, and then they've been off since then. So, I guess the first thing to say is that I'm not going to be able to get a podcast done over the weekend for Monday's game against Florida. The Preds are playing 2 at home, got a 2-game homestand, playing Colorado tomorrow and Florida on Monday. So I am going to cover both today. At least they're both home games. Home game in Nashville, as opposed to the home game in Sweden. Now, the way they had it listed on the schedule was Pittsburgh versus Nashville, which is the way they list things that are home games. But I guess the way they actually counted it in the standings was that Friday's game was a home game for the Preds, and they won. And Sunday was a home game for Pittsburgh, and they won. Granted, Pittsburgh got the overtime point for the overtime loss on Friday, but at least the Preds won 1. So that was really nice. And but yeah, going to be covering both of those today. So next week is Thanksgiving, and I guess there's a lot of. Seems like Black Friday started a couple of weeks ago, and Quantum Energy Squares has their Black Friday sale going on. You can get 25% off their site now, but you can always get 25% off their site if you use the promo code PREDSPRO. PREDSPRO. Preds Pro will get you 25% off every day of the year, not just during the Black Friday month. I've already done some of my own Black Friday shopping. Everything gets earlier and earlier every year, it feels like. So quantumsquares.com for your energy bar with caffeine and protein. Okay, got that out of the way early. I might bring it up later. Depends on how the production staff went. They've been off for a week too. We did spend a little bit of time trying to figure out something with regards to the second period. Still clueless. Basically, it's one of those things where any stat in and of itself can mean anything. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have a horrible year or you're going to have a really good year. There's always a mix of teams that have particular qualities that are up at the top and at the bottom. So, it's hard to pinpoint. I think the main problem, the biggest problem is scoring, and if they were scoring on the power play, I think the Preds' season would be a lot different. We'll get into those particular stats later in the show. We have finally reached 20 games, so the overall stats, I think we can say, is particularly statistically significant for whatever that means at this point in time. But hey, what I haven't done? Because I didn't have a podcast on Monday, I haven't done a minor league update. Yay! So last week the Milwaukee Admirals had 3 at home last week. They went 2-1. They wound up losing on Friday to the Manitoba Moose, but they did win on Wednesday, 4-3 overtime win versus the Chicago Wolves. And then on Saturday, they won 3-1 over the Texas Stars. Corona was in goal. That can't be right. Texas Stars can't be Heider. I must have gotten... can't be Heider. Why would Hyder doesn't play? It's Krona and Murray. Had to be Murray. Anyway, so I guess I've already messed that up. But anyway, so moving on. Sweet thing. They're 2 on the road, and I gotta look this up. This can't be right. Let's see. Milwaukee's schedule is kind of dumb from the standpoint when you go to it. It shows you October, and then you have to click through to get to Wednesday, to November, to whatever month you're going to. It's funny. Atlanta's doesn't have that problem, but Milwaukee does. Oh, good. You're going to tell me nothing. Oh, that's right. Because when you click through, it doesn't give you the game that you were clicking through on. Which is just so much fun. Okay, well, I'll fix that later. Pretty sure Hyder is playing for the other team for Atlanta. I have no idea why I got this. Skaters, forwards, defensemen. Oh, good. Don't tell me anything about goalies. Oh, there we go. Goalies. Yeah. Magna. Okay, so Hyder definitely not. So Murray was in goal against Texas, and Krona was in goal against Chicago and Manitoba. I knew that had to be right. That Hyder had to be right. It gets that production staff. They get so excited about doing things for teams that win. This week, Milwaukee has 2 on the road in Henderson, Nevada, playing the Silver Knights on Friday and Saturday. And then, so currently, Milwaukee is second in the Central with 18 points. They are 3 points behind the Grand Rapids Griffins, who have played 1 more game. And that's not what that means. That would mean, why am I even doing this? I think well, okay. So, we're tied for second with 18 points. We're tied with the Manitoba Moose. The Grand Rapid Griffins are 5 points ahead of both teams. The Moose have played 16 games versus Grand Rapids and Milwaukee having played 12, which is actually the least number of games that have been played in this division. Manitoba's played 16, Rockford 17. Like I said, Milwaukee's played 12. Milwaukee and Grand Rapids have played 12. So 5-game differential there. I wonder if the Rockford Ice Hogs, who played 17 games, are talking about what a rough schedule it's been because they've played so many games more than everybody else. I don't know. It'd be interesting to find that out. Yes, plug. I always, it seems like I constantly find things about the Preds announcers that just annoy me, and I guess that's okay. That's okay. I mean, they're not always wrong. But anyway, so third in the Central. There you go. For Atlanta, Atlanta had been doing really well and then lost 1, but now they've lost 2 more. So they were on the road and they lost 2 more games. Friday 0-1 against the South Carolina Stingrays, and then on Saturday 1-2 against the Jacksonville Icemen. Symptom help. I thought I could get through that. Symptom Helter was in goal for both, even though it was a back-to-back situation. And if I thought about this, and I think he's got all 3 losses, and because I think he was in goal when they lost that first time. Atlanta Gladiators. So anyway, so that's the Atlanta Gladiators. They lost 2 in the road. They were first in the league, first in the conference, first in the division, but now they've fallen to second place in the division. I guess maybe I should have looked that up again today too. But they've got 16 points. They're down 2 points in one game, have played one less game than the South Carolina. And then they are 1 point ahead and have played 2 games less than the Florida Everblades. And the Stingrays, they get to play this weekend. So they've got 2 at home now, Saturday against the Greenville Swamp Rabbits. And then Sunday against the South Carolina Stingrays. A funny, interesting thing about that game, Sunday they're playing in the afternoon. So you got a night game on Saturday and then an afternoon game on Sunday. Don't really know what to think about that. Haven't spent that much time previously looking at. I guess Hyder's got 1 lost and Semptom-Helter's got 2. Looking at how they put the schedules together for minor league hockey teams, I've been to minor league hockey teams, hockey games in the past. I was up in Utica with friends of mine years ago. Went to a game up there, and last year went down to South Carolina and saw the Stingrays play the Gladiators. Didn't at that point even know the Gladiators were associated with Nashville. We were all planning on pulling for South Carolina. My brother lives in Charleston, and which is where the Stingrays play. Nice little arena. Fun game. South Carolina won, unfortunately. I don't think Atlanta had a good year last year. But, we were all planning on pulling for the Stingrays, and then once I found out that they were a Nashville affiliate, Prudence and I took our Preds gear and pulled for Atlanta. Tried our best, But yeah, fun little thing. So anyway, they are now in so now they've lost 2 more. So like I said, they got two at home coming up playing the Stingrays, who are ahead of them. Excuse me. Let's see, major transaction watch. We've got nothing there. And so ECHL standings. Yay. Okay. I really should just move on. But hey, it's kind of fun. I guess I guess Atlanta did just lose 2, but it's kind of nice to look at it. Okay, so Atlanta is in 3rd. The 16 points. Oh, but they've played a couple of games less. The Stingrays have played 2 more games. They're 2 points ahead. They're in 1st. They played 2 more games than Atlanta. The Everblades are now in 2nd in 17 points, so 1 point ahead of Atlanta, but they've played 3 more games. So anyway, that's enough of minor league stuff, right? Okay, so the Nashville Predators, having returned from Sweden going 1-1, but at least they got a win. Welcome Saturday at 7 o'clock, the Colorado Avalanche. Colorado Avalanche, let's see, McKinnon has the points leader in the NHL. They are 1st in the Central Division. They're 1st in the league with 33 points. They are 14-1-5. Good news there. That 1 loss was on the road, and they're on the road. So they've already lost once. So it's what's the big deal? They could lose again, right? So their record on the road is 6-1-3. They have 5 overtime losses, which is now 3rd in the league. There are 2 teams that have 6, Vegas and St. Louis. And there are 3 other teams that have 5 overtime losses, Seattle, LA, and Edmonton. 2 teams still remain with 0, Winnipeg and Boston. And Nashville, I believe, only has 1, right? OTLs, no, 4. 4. Oof, 4. Yeah, buddy. Okay, so anyway, why do you think? Never mind. Saturday's game is the first of 2 on the road. Colorado does have a back-to-back this weekend. They play at Chicago on Sunday. They have won their last 7 games. I believe they are like 9-0-1 in their last 10. I think that's right. As far as the season series, this is the first of 4. It's the first of 2 in Nashville. They get to play in Nashville on December 9th. So the first 2 games will both be in Nashville. And then they'll play December 13th. So they play 2 games, fairly close together, but at Nashville and then Colorado. So, yeah, we'll get to see them. Who is this? Colorado. December 9th. Yeah, December 9th, December 13th. Yeah, so they'll be here on Tuesday. Then St. Louis will be here on Thursday, and then we'll go to Colorado. We'll go to Colorado on Saturday, and then St. Louis on Monday. So we got 4 games where we're playing the same team twice. Colorado, St. Louis, Colorado, St. Louis. Well, I guess it's a schedule. And then Carolina. Wait a minute. Carolina. So we'll be at Carolina before all that, and then Carolina will come here. So 6 games, we're going to play 3 teams twice in that stretch. It's a schedule. Toronto, New York. Yeah, okay. So that's just, wow, that's fun. It's a fun way to make a schedule. Why not? Wow, the Tuesday game against Colorado here is at 8:30. Holy cow, 8:30 here. That's going to be pretty late. That's late. Can't do that. Can't stay up that late. I can stay up to 8:30. It's just, that game's not going to get over till like 11. By the time you get out of the stadium, get home, it's close to midnight. Can't do that. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, we're going to be playing Calgary a lot here by the end of the year, and then we'll play them at Colorado, and then we'll play them in mid-January, and then we'll be done with Colorado. They'll be done with us. Last year, the home team did win all of the games, so that's a bright spot. Hopefully, we can keep that trend going, at least through the weekend. So Colorado was 2-2 against Nashville. They lost 2-5 in Nashville in early November. And then, again, they played a couple days later, November 11th, in Colorado, and they won there 3-2 in overtime. Then, middle of December, 5-2 win for them in Colorado, and then late February back here in Nashville, and Nashville actually won that game. The final score 1-2 in favor of Nashville in Nashville. Last year, Colorado was 3rd in the Central Division. They lost in the first round to Dallas in 7 games. They won the 1st, 4th, and 6th games of that series. Notable personnel issues. They have 4 players listed out. None of them had significant stats that I saw, just a glance when I was doing things, but they've been out. A couple of them haven't been out that long. Number 13 right wing Valerie Nishushkin, not expected back until the 26th. Number 94 left wing Joel Kiviranta. We'll just stick with that. Not expected back till the end of November. Number 25 right wing Logan O'Connor, not expected back till December 2nd. Oh, this guy might be back. He just went on the list. When I was doing this yesterday, he wasn't on the list, and today he showed up. Number 54 right wing Gavin Brindley is expected back right now. Today on the 21st, he's expected back on the 22nd. So, a lot of times that just kind of gets pushed back out. The Colorado has called up from the Colorado Eagles Number 57, left wing Tristan Nielsen has been recalled. He wasn't assigned or invited or didn't disappear from the roster in Colorado. He's no longer listed on the roster. None of that. So there's not Colorado's won 7 in a row. They're not missing a beat. And then after that, on Monday, the Florida Panthers, the 2-time consecutive Stanley Cup champions, coming to town, 7 p.m. At least that's a reasonable time. I can't believe 8:30. I'm looking at that again. That's local. That's local time. 8:30. But not Monday. Monday night, the Florida Panthers, 7 p.m. at Bridgestone Arena. Florida this year is 5th in the Atlantic Division with 23 points. They're tied with Montreal, but have a +5 regulation win. That puts them ahead of them. They are 11-8-1 on the road, 3-6-0. So not the best road team. We'll see that a little bit later. I did add some new stats, and it took me forever. And I'm not sure I want to keep this up because it took a little bit of time. But anyway, we'll get to all of that later. Monday's game for them is a 1-game road trip. Next up for them, a 6-game homestand, which includes Nashville. We get to play Florida again. So they'll have a 6-game homestand after Monday night's game. They do play this weekend. They are playing on Saturday. Ooh, back-to-back records. I need to get that up. They do play Saturday. They play Edmonton this Saturday. So they'll have another game between here and there. And it's a home game because this is a 1-game road trip for them, right? So they are in the middle of a 5-game homestand, and they are 3-1 on that homestand, having beaten Washington, Vancouver, and New Jersey, and losing to Tampa Bay. So Edmonton Saturday will be the final game of that homestand, and then they come to Nashville. After that, they've got another 6-game homestand, and playing Philadelphia, Calgary, Toronto, Nashville, Columbus, and the Islanders. This is the first of 2 versus Florida, between Florida and Nashville. And then they'll play in a couple of weeks. Couple of weeks, December 4th, and then we'll be done with Florida. Getting done with teams early this year, but there you go. Last year, Florida did win both of the games played in early November and late February. They won early November was in Sunrise, Florida, down in Florida, 6-2. And then in late February, here in Nashville, Florida won 4-1. Last year, they were third in the Atlantic Division. The first round, they beat Tampa Bay 4-1. The second round, Toronto 4-3. Carolina next up 4-1. And then the Stanley Cup Finals 4-2. Edmonton. I think that was interesting about that. Since they were third in the Atlantic Division, they didn't have the home ice advantage against anybody because they had to play Tampa Bay, who was second. And then they played Toronto, who was first, and then they played Carolina, that had a better record, and then Edmonton, I guess the West Conference must have had home ice last year, and so they did not have home ice advantage at all, and they went 4-1, 4-3, 4-1, 4-2. So, the only series that went 7 was Toronto. Anyway, notable personnel changes. These guys are another team that's kind of rife. I guess some big names out and some recently. Alexander Barkov month to month, not expected to play this season. He's on long-term injured reserve, injured knee, I guess, number 16. They got to be missing him. Matthew Tkachuk is week to week. He's not expected back until the middle of December, and you know they're missing him. Eetu Luostarinen, somebody that went out recently on the 19th, but not expected back until the 2nd of December. Also, Thomas Nosek, not expected back till the 10th of December. Cole Schwindt, month to month. I always hate it when I see these month to month. And Eetu Luostarinen is the only one day to day, and Thomas Nosek is the only one. No, he's week to week, and Tkachuk is week to week, and then it's month to month. And then you see Barkov's not expected back until the end of April, but Dmitry Kulikov not expected back until the middle of March. I guess there's still hope he could play this season. And then Jonah Gadjevich, not expected back until the beginning of February. Just hate seeing that kind of stuff. But yeah, they've got, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 players. And I think Barkov, has been out all season. Kulikov been out all season. I just hate seeing that kind of stuff. And their one transaction was that on the 18th, they did recall from the Charlotte Checkers. Not sure what to think about that. Charlotte Checkers. I'm not sure. I'm never sure what to think about that at all. But number 30, right wing Jack Devine, recalled from the Charlotte Checkers. For your Nashville Predators, okay. Come on. 8th in the Central because there's no 9th. 8th in the Central with 16 points, 6-10-4. At home, 5-5-2. That one of those home wins being the Swedish win. I guess there's no currency exchange, no exchange rate on wins in another country. You don't get a boost or get a cut. I guess that's probably not fair. Otherwise, the Canadian teams, they'd only get like 0.8 of a win or a loss. I guess you only get 0.8 of a loss. I think that I think I could live with that. But anyway, yeah, no conversion there on playing games in another country. So 5-5-2 at home, 4-5-2 actually in Bridgestone, but hey, we'll take it. The Preds are 2 points behind St. Louis, who has played one more game. They are 7 points behind Utah, who has played one more game. And then in the race to the bottom, they are only 1 point ahead of Calgary. But Calgary has played 2 more games. The advantage there is that Calgary comes to town. The fight for the bottom. You see players tripping all over themselves in that game. It's, I have not compared it to last year. I guess, last year about this time, probably in 7th, because Chicago was doing so poorly at this time of the year. Probably by this time of the year, Nashville had pulled ahead of Chicago, and then San Jose was at the bottom. My guess is that we're in worse shape than last year. I think what I remember before the Pittsburgh games, the Preds were like 2 points ahead, had 2 overtime losses that were losses, same number of wins as the last year. So that was the only change, and both of those I think were at home. I think had exactly the same road record as last year. But it's this year. And, interesting, the Western Conference has a bigger delta. There was one of the articles on the NHL NHL.com was about how the standings were so crammed together because of the compressed schedule. But if you look at, and that's true in the East, but not in the West. In the West, we've got, well, the thing about the Western Conference, in the Central Division, we've got Colorado and Dallas, the top two teams in the league, 33 and 29 points, and then you've got 16. So there's 17-point differential between first and last, and the Central and the Pacific, it's 12, 27 to 15, because you had two of the lowest point total teams in the league. But then, you go up to the Metropolitan. There's a 6-point differential between first and last, and then a 7-point differential in the Atlantic. So 10 points between the top of the Atlantic and the bottom of the top of the East and the bottom of the East, 28 and 18. But that's an article that's primarily based upon the Eastern Conference. So anyway, that's the Preds, where they're at. This is a 2-game homestand, these 2 games, Colorado and Florida. That's it. Next up is 2 on the road, with the second game being the front part of a back-to-back. And you guys know how much I love back-to-backs. Loved Colorado having to play a back-to-back, playing a back-to-back with Chicago, which normally you'd be like, well, Chicago. But hey, Chicago's 4th, tied for 3rd in the Central this year. So good for them. Nice to see they're bouncing back from that horrible, horrible season last year. Where is San Jose? San Jose, are they doing better? Calgary's not. San Jose, well, they're in 5th. They're tied with Edmonton, 23 points, but they got the 21. Edmonton's played 2 more games, so San Jose gets the nod for that. But so we go to Detroit on Wednesday. Friday we play in Chicago, and then back here Saturday versus Calgary. Personnel issues. Well, they had called up Joakim Kamel. They called him up for the Swedish trip to have him available. Whistling today. But he's been reassigned to Milwaukee. The only thing, that's the only real change there. Yossi, Smith, and Leroux are still out. The 24th, and then for Yossi, which will probably get pushed out again come Monday. And then Smith and Leroux. I think I did see where Yossi was practicing or skating. Maybe he wasn't practicing with the team, but he was skating. So maybe we'll get him back. That'd be good. Won't get him back in time for the Colorado game, I do not believe. So, okay. I'm just gonna give it away. That Saturday's game is gonna suck. I'm just gonna say it. The Preds have been off now. Yeah, okay, rested but rusty. They're going to be rusty. Excuse me. They, they're going to be rusty. And Colorado, they'll start going through the Colorado numbers. It's just scary. It's just scary. And they got off to a good start this year, and they really, I don't think they've slowed down at all. Take a quick look back here at the schedule. I mean, they did lose 4 in a row. Actually, they won 2, lost a game 1-3, so they were 5-1 or 5-0-1. The game they lost was in shootout. Then they had 4 games where they went 0-1-3, and then since then they're 9-0-1. So they had a bad 4-game stretch, but other than that, it's just scary. It's just scary seeing them come to town and knowing, how the Preds are playing and frankly rusty. They should be rested, hopefully, but going to be a little rusty. There's not a whole lot you can do about that. So as far as the stats go, just a quick look back at. I was curious to go back and look in the first game with Pittsburgh. We tied the first, lost the second, won the third, and then won in overtime. Didn't get the first goal of the game did not, but did win that game. So that's kind of an anomaly, not getting, that kind of changes things. The second game, we did not get the first goal either. So that, that kind of wound up being a push. But not getting the first goal and then winning the game, something of a novelty. And then tying the first and losing the second, tying the first and losing the second. That wound up being a win, right? Oh yeah, right. So that's happened 4 times. So that's one of the scenarios that's happened 4 times. I think previously that was, I had to be 0 for the wins, but that's 1, 2, and 1 now. So that's a little bit different. And then lost the second, won the third. And then won in overtime. So they won 1, lost 1, and won 2. In the second game, they lost the first and third, tied the second, lost the third, but that was an empty net. So they still lost it, but didn't get the first goal. But yeah, so losing the first, losing the first. Lose the first, doesn't matter what you do in the second. Those are all losses. The first period correlation. 6 times they've lost. They have not yet this year lost the first period and won the game. It has not happened yet. It should happen eventually, but it hasn't happened yet. And I think I didn't look at this, but if you lose the first period and you didn't get the first goal, that's probably, they lose the first period, it doesn't matter about the first goal. So because they've lost, every time they've lost the first period, they've lost the game. Well, that's fun. Okay, so wanted to talk about that because I thought there was a number of things that would kind of tie back in and kind of reiterate some of the things that we have been talking about, and I think it does. The one differential being that first goal. So the first goal, let's talk about that. The first goal, coin flip. If the Preds get it, 4-2 and 2. If they do not, 2-8 and 2. So it's a pretty strong indicator they're going to lose. Now, of course, they did win the other day. So that could always turn around. Last year it was heavily negative, but they had a bad season last year, having a bad season this year. 2 years ago, when they had a decent season, not getting the first goal was only a 2-1 situation, and getting it was like a 3-1 advantage. So this. It only matters if they can win. If they're just going to lose every game anyway, then what's the point? So I guess just trying to take off my socks. Like I said, it gets hot here in my studio. Never sure what to wear because I come in here and I'm freezing, and then halfway through I'm starting to pull up my pants and wonder why I didn't wear something a little cooler. But yeah, so it's happened 8 times that they have gotten the first goal and 12 times that they have not. So that's a little bit. So what would that be? That'd be 40% of the time they get the first goal and 60% they're not, which is, I guess, not too bad. At home, I got some interesting stats here. I guess 6 times it's happened in both scenarios. So again, that's still not a lot of data points. But 3-2 and 1 when they get it, coin flip. 2-3 and 1 when they don't, again, a coin flip. So kind of at home, and one of those is biased because it's got that Swedish game. So I don't know. And I feel like I really want to take that out of both home and away. But I guess you get enough stats that one game will get covered up. So basically here in Nashville, they're 2-2 and 1. But again, it's still kind of pretty much a coin flip if they get the first goal as to how the result is going to be. So it's not really a determinant. And Yeah. So is it important? It being important, which is what the announcer said, but I did have to. Sometimes you feel like, well, they said that 2 years ago when the Preds were having a decent season. I just remember one year when the Kings were having a bad season, and the announcers were talking about how, at least they're out shooting the competition. And okay, you're losing every game, but you're out shooting the competition. What's the point? But anyway, winning by winning by period. Winning by period. And get correlations. Maybe I should just go straight to correlations because, let's stick with it this way. Winning by period, the first period, the Preds are not winning the first period very much. Only 3 times, 3, 6, and 11. Here in Nashville, 3, 1, and 8. So, but that's just one loss so far in Nashville. I guess in Sweden they won. There was a tie. The first period was a tie. Actually, the first goal was in the second period, wasn't it? Yeah, there's still not a lot of data points in second period. Overall, it's 2-0-1 when the Preds get the first goal in the second period, and 1-1 when they don't. But yeah, the first goal happening in the second period. Granted, that's only 5 data points, but that's what is that? That's points in 4 games. So that's 7 points out of a possible 10 if the first goal is in the second period. So that kind of weighs in their favor. I know, like I've said in other podcasts, I hate to pull for the Preds to tie, but their best scenario. The situation that has happened the most, that has been the most productive for them, is to tie the first and second. Doesn't mean they can't score; it's just tied. And but yeah, so the second period goals is, I guess I start pulling for second period goals as well. But 5 data points. Home in the first period, again, 3, 1, and 8. So that's good. But as I said, the thing about that is how it correlates. And just walking through the numbers here, the second period, the Preds are 4, 8, and 8 overall. It's not a good record there. At home, 2, 6, and 4. And then the third period, 7, 12, and 1, with the here at home 4, 7, and 1. So the only winning record is here in Nashville in the first period. As far as how that correlates to victory, the Preds have won the first period 3 times here at home, but they're 1-2 in those games. So they've only won once out of the 3 times that they won the first period. They lost the game that they lost the first period here in Nashville. Then in a coin flip, if they tie it, overall, similar 1-2 when they win the first period. I guess they must not have ever won the first period on the road. I think that's what is that what I'm seeing? That's what, yeah, they're 0-5-3 on the road. But these 2 games are at home. Hey, and at home is the only place where they've won the first period. But that's only 3 times. And so they are 1-2 when they've won the first period. When they've lost the first period, they're 0-6. And then when they tie it, coin flip. So, I hate to pull for them not to win a period, but geez, it's not very good stats. Well, I guess it's 33%, so I guess it's still better than what's that, 5 of 11. But 5 of 11, what's that, 45%? So 45% versus 33% versus 0. So I guess it's still better, but and over the season we should see that change. They should change. If they should change, if they win the first period, they should have a better record at winning the game. So then taking a look at the second period looks very similar. Overall, 1-3 when they win the second period, so that's not good. And then 1-7 when they lose it. Hey, at least there's a win in that column, and then a coin flip if they tie it. Here in Nashville, that one win of the second period must have been on the road because they're 0-2 when they win the second period here in Nashville. 1-5 when they lose the second period, and if they tie the second period, they are 4-0. 4-0, people. A winning, undefeated record. I'm telling you, it's hard to pull for a tied second period. It's just hard. I mean, looking at the stats, I mean, the second period is undeniably the Preds' worst period. Undeniably. Well, I mean, the third's bad too, but a lot of that because of the empty net situation. But, yeah. Anyway, third period, we have a winning record when the Preds win overall 4-3. And they lose 1-11. And when they tie, hey, another undefeated. They've only tied the third period once. And that's counting empty nets. When they take out the empty nets, I guess it's 5 times 2-3. Yeah, decent. I mean, I guess with the empty net situation, they're 2 and I guess 1-3. Ooh, okay, got it. Here at home, they're 3-1 when they win the third period, and that even takes out the empty nets. Oh, that's fun. 3-1 when they win the third period, 1-6 when they lose it. Taking out empty nets, 1-4, and then if they tie it here at home, they're 1-0. Of course, taking out empty nets, it becomes 1-2. Anyway, take a quick break. Yeah, and so then they don't have anything on my sheet to talk about this, but I know I always like to. Well, that's goal scoring. No, we're still talking about periods. So the combinatorics, still talking about combinatorics. So I guess I shouldn't take the break yet. I should wait until after I finish this. But so 4 times they've tied the first and won the second. They're 1-1-2 in that scenario. In the scenario where they tie the first and lose the second, that's also happened 4 times. They're 1-2-1. Tying the first, tying the second is 3 times. They're 3-0-0. The other thing that has happened 4 times is to lose the first and tie the second, and they're 0-3-1. That's happened 4 times, 0-3-1 in those scenarios. So all of those scenarios are losing records except tying the first and tying the second. If they win the first, tie the second, that's only happened once, and they're 1-0 in that situation. They have not won the second period without tying the first. When they've lost the first, they haven't won the second. And when they've won the first, they haven't won the second, which is really weird. And these are all overall. Again, overall there's 4, but at home, 3 data points is the most that we've got. And that's both tying the first and then losing or tying the second. Those are the things that have happened the most, 3 times each. Tying the first, losing the second, they're actually 1-1-1. So there is a win in there, which is handy. Tying the first and tying the second, I guess that's, wow, all of those data points have happened at home. They have not tied the first and tied the second on the road. But hey, we're playing at home. We're playing at home. We don't need to look at the away statistics. No. Let's not do that because you want to talk about depressing. But we're not trying to talk about depressing. We're not trying. Okay. Goal scoring. Or winning goal. The winning goal in Pittsburgh was overtime for the Preds in the first game, and then it was in the first period in the second game. Again, that kind of screws with the whole home and away numbers, especially when you got so few numbers to deal with that. But Still, wow, 5 times the winning goal has been in overtime, which is the second highest number for the Preds, 7 in the third. So 35% of the time it's in the third period and 25% of the time it's been in overtime. That is just really shocking still this early in the season, 20 games in. The Preds win, half the time. There's only 6 wins. 3 of them are in the third period. When the Preds lose, it's evenly distributed between the second, third, and overtime. 4. And then 2 in the first. So at least no as big as 0 for the opponents in the shootout. Yay. Something positive there. But 29% in both the second, third, and overtime. And of course, Pittsburgh got the winning goal in the first period in the second game there. Home again. What is it? Home, 12 games at home, 12 games at home, 8 on the road. So 12 games at home. Almost half, 5 have been in the third period, 42%. And the second highest is overtime. Preds winning, what's that, 5, right? So 5 at home, 40% in the third period. So the third period, which is different from 2 years ago, and not looking it away, but looking at the home versus the road team winning, the home team has won 12 times, which is interesting because the Preds have 12 home games, and the road team has won 8 times, and the Preds have played 8 road games. So that's unfortunately that's not a 100% victory for the Preds, even though those numbers align. For the home team winning, now granted, they have Pittsburgh winning, getting the home home win in Sweden. Again, kind of annoys me, but that's what the numbers are. So evenly distributed between the first, third, and overtime. The home team winning, it's really distributed 3 for all of those, and then twice in the second period. So that's really, really well distributed there. For the road team winning, half the time it's been in the third period. 8 times the road team has won. And never in the first period. The road team has not gotten the winning goal in the first period this season against the Preds, or in games with the Preds, because the Preds could win on the road and get the winning goal in the first period. It hasn't happened. 2, 4, and 2s, 2, 3 in overtime. So 4 times, twice as much in third as the rest, but only 8 data points. So that's the winning goal. As far as goal scoring goes, let's just keep this train going. The Preds have been outscored in every period. Let's take a look at the home scoring. Now, this is where I guess things switch up a little bit. Here in Nashville, the Preds are actually outscoring their opponents 11-7 in the first period. Overall, 12-17. Oh, that is just ugly. So on the road, the Preds are being outscored 1-10. 1-10 in the first period. In 8 games. Oh, my goodness gracious. But hey, we're not talking about road. Don't look at the... Don't look at... I keep telling myself that. So in the first period, the Preds are actually outscoring their opponents. They're almost getting a goal a game. 11 goals in 12 games and giving up half a goal, almost half a goal in the first period. So 11-7, those are good numbers. And second period, not so good, 9-15. The third period, 10-14, so they're being outscored in the second and the third. Looking at the scenarios about coming into the second and third period when they're winning, tied, or losing. Winning, tied, or losing, a quick glance here. The only advantage I see is that when the Preds come into the third period tied, they are outscoring their opponent 3-2. That's happened 4 times and everything else is weighted weighted towards the opponent. Especially the thing that I noted on the last podcast was that the third period, when they're winning, coming into the third period, they're being outscored 6-9, but the Preds have three empty net goals, which means, with the goaltenders being in net, they're being outscored 3-9 in the third period when they're winning. And that has happened 5 times. So the opponents are getting about 2 goals a game when the Preds are winning coming into the third period. They're getting 2 goals in the third period on average. That's not exemplary. If we want to take a look at the what's happening at home, the Preds have come into the second period winning 3 times, come into the third period winning 3 times, being outscored in both of those. And those numbers are even worse in the third period because they're being outscored 2-6 in the third period. But one of those for the Preds is an empty net goal. So they're being outscored 1-6 here in Nashville in 6 games. So, hey, at least they're only giving up one goal here when they're winning. Tied 3-2. Again, it's 4 times that's happened. So, I guess that's the thing. Coming into the third period tied has only happened here in Nashville. Now, don't look at the away numbers. 8 times they've come into the second period tied, and they've been outscored 8-10. 8-10, and then when they are losing coming into the second period, that's only happened once. Oh, that's fun. They have here in Nashville. They've only come into this. Yeah, okay, all right. It's only happened once, and they're outscored 0-1. It's not awful. 5 times they've come into the third period losing, and they've been outscored 5-6. 2 of those goals being empty net goals, so 5-4. Yeah, okay. So not great, but not the worst thing I've ever seen either. All right, so let's take a look at the matchups. Who are we playing? We are playing Colorado on Saturday and Florida on Sunday, and the numbers for Colorado are just off the charts. They are the top team in goal scoring in the league, having scored 84 goals. And you can just about take Florida and Nashville together and add them up, and don't get to that, but that's not true. But what do you get? You get 106 with Florida and Nashville. So Nashville scored 48 goals. Is that right? Okay. And Colorado has scored 84. They only got 6 goals last night. Florida has scored 58. Well, the Preds are last in the league in scoring at 48, and Colorado is first in the league in scoring at 84. But hey, maybe there's still some bright spot here on the horizon. Colorado only falls to third in the league in scoring in the first period with 23. The Preds rise up to 29th with 12. Florida has 15. So they're 23rd in the league, Florida is, both overall and in the first. You come up to the second, and Colorado gets a little better. They're second in the league in the second period with 28 goals. Florida is 20th in the league with 20, and the Preds are in the bottom again with 15. For the third period, Colorado stays second in the league at 32, Florida 15th at 23, and Nashville 24th with 20. So 12, 15, and 20 for the Preds, 15, 20, and 23 for Florida, 23, 28, 32 for Colorado. Well, okay, so that sounds pretty scary. What about goals against? Well, let me tell you, Colorado, 31st in the league in being scored on. They've only had 48 goals scored on them, which is coincidentally the number of goals that the Preds have scored all season. Florida, 20th in the league, 58. And the Preds being off for the last week did help their stats and helped where they were at in the league. They're 8th in the league in being scored on now with 70. At least the Preds haven't had the same number of goals scored against them as the Colorado has scored, but let's keep moving forward. In the first period, it looks like if you are going to score on Colorado, you're going to have to do it in the first period because they are 10th in the league in being scored on in the first period with 19 goals, which is more than Nashville. Nashville is 17 and Florida is 28. So Florida's a little bit on the stingier side. You come to the second period, and both Florida and Colorado are tougher, going 21st and 22nd, 21st for Florida, 22nd for Colorado. And in the second, Florida has had 18 goals scored on them to Colorado's 17, but the Preds 23, but that puts them 10th in the league. And then in the third period, open up the gates to everybody but Colorado. Colorado, the last in the league, nine, single digits. Holy cow. Colorado, how many games have they played? Colorado's played 20 games, and they've had 9 goals scored against them in the third period. And I'm betting none of them are empty net. Didn't look that up. That would be fun. But how could they be empty net? They went to overtime 5 times. They've only lost 1 game. Okay, just for fun, because what the heck else are we doing here? They lost 3-2 to Boston, and there's no 3-2. That's not an empty net. Nope. Hey, our friend Victor Arvidsson got the first goal for Boston. Well, what do you know? Arturi Lehkonen got both goals for Colorado in the losing, and they got I guess they pulled their goaltender and they got a goal to get to 3-2. But yeah, no empty nets in that one. So nine goals scored against Colorado in the third period. Florida and Nashville both have 26, 3 times the goals. Those are 9th and 10th in the league in being scored against in the third period. So yeah, if you're going to get it on Colorado, it's going to be you better get it in the first, because not going to get it in the second or third. Definitely not the third. Not going to get it in the third. Forget about it. And then Florida stingy in the first, a little less stingy in the second, and the third period. So that's kind of what that looks like. But here's something new. And it took me so long to put this together because I did it for all for goals and then the special teams, is the opponents in their situation and Nashville in this. So they're coming. So Colorado and Florida are coming to Nashville. So they are on the road. Nashville is at home. So how does Colorado and Florida stack up when they're on the road? And Florida is worse. Both teams are actually, I guess, a little worse, but you could be better as far if you were Colorado. Colorado is only 5th in the league in scoring when they are on the road, 39 goals. Florida falls to 29th. And the Preds are actually 20th in the league in scoring at home. So they're bottom. Nashville is at the bottom overall, but here in Nashville, we're about middle of the league, which is a lot more respectable. If they were in the middle of the league overall, they have a lot better record. So that's encouraging. They've scored 31 goals for. I guess like 17. Don't look at the road. Don't look at the road. Don't look at the road. Oh, if you're driving, look at the road. But yeah, so the Preds have scored 31 goals. Now, what I don't have is the numbers, because the Preds have 12. The Preds have 12 home games. Colorado has 10 road games. So that's decently compatible, and Florida has 9. So it's similar, but the Preds do have a couple more home games than they have road. So that'd be important to note. Get the production staff on that. because then you can kind of take a look at the average, right? And then that's what you're looking at, the average. So Colorado has 39 goals in 10 games. The Preds have 31 goals in 12 games. And Florida has 20 goals in 9 games. So, carrying those numbers forward in your head. Let's just do that for now. Colorado stays fifth in the first, sixth in the second, and 11th in the third. So on the road, they're not as productive. Overall, I mean, they get 14 goals in the second and 13 in the third, which is sixth in the second and 11th. So even though it's the same number, but because goal scoring in the NHL goes up from period to period, you get the same number of goals, you're going to drop as far as the ranking goes. And Florida is worst in the league in scoring goals on the road, so hallelujah. Florida is 22nd in the league scoring in the second, so they're not. They're just not it doesn't look like they're a very good road scoring team. But then they've got the losing record, right? They're 3-6-0. Nashville is 10th in the league in scoring at home in the first period with 11, so that's good. Not so good at the second. They're 22nd in the league in the second and third, so that's definitely scoring falls off, and 9 and 10. So similar numbers. At least it goes up from the second to the third, but they score more goals in the first than they do in either of the other periods here in Nashville. And that would stay true because they didn't score in the first period in Sweden. Sorry, I keep saying that, but they did score in the third period. So that would be, so technically, if you take that one out, they've scored the same number of goals in the second and third actually here at Bridgestone. As far as goals against go, similar. Colorado is 28th in the league in being scored on the road. Florida is 13th being scored on the road. And the Preds are 6th being scored on here in Bridgestone. They've had 38 goals scored against them. Florida's had 32 and Colorado 24. So on the road, Florida's been outscored 32-20. The Preds 38-31. So the Preds actually have a little bit better ratio between goals scored and goals against here in Nashville. But Florida on the road looking a little weak. All three teams, 7 goals scored against them in the first period. So they're 24th, 23rd, 23rd. And then the second period, goals against Colorado only 8, Florida only 9. And then the Preds 15 in the second is 4th in the league. That is their worst stat, especially with regards to ranking in the NHL as far as goals against. And then, here at home, and then actually less goals scored again, 14 in the third period, and a number of those are empty net goals. The Florida giving up 16 goals in the third period. They're 6th in the league and being scored on the road. The Preds are 6th in the league and being scored on at home. So yeah, you're gonna. It's looking good for the game against Florida, not looking very good the game against Colorado. Now here, sideways projection, we're going to beat Colorado and lose to Florida. You're not going to score on Colorado in the third. They've only given up 6 goals in the third, so 8 in the second, 6, and they've played 10 games, so less than one goal a game on the road in the second and third. Well, heck, the first period was 7, so they've given up 24 goals in 10 games on the road and scored 39 in 10. So yeah, the Colorado game looks kind of scary, but yeah, putting these numbers together kind of got a little tiring. And maybe instead of doing the overall, just do the situational, because that's really kind of more interesting. So just kind of, put another little pocket on this. Maybe that's what I should do. It makes more sense, too, because that's the scenario you're putting in. So overall, the Preds' penalty kill is 14th in the league at 81.4%. But here at Bridgestone, they're 4th in the league at 90%. So that's that's great. In fact, let's just skip the overall because we've got the let's just skip the overall. So the penalty kill, the special teams penalty kill, Colorado is fourth in the league on the road at 85.7%, 5 goals on 30 opportunities. The Preds fourth in the league at home at 90%, 4 goals on 40 opportunities. And Florida is similar to the Preds in number of opportunities, 38. They've given up 8 goals. But they've also scored 2 shorthanded goals, only 1 shorthanded goal for both Colorado and Nashville. So that helps out Florida's overall ranking, taking them to 12th in the league on the penalty kill versus 4th for Colorado on the road and 5th for Nashville at home. So, the overall 92.5% effectiveness on the penalty kill here in Nashville for the Predators. As far as goals versus opportunities, Colorado is 24th in the league in goals and 14th in opportunities, so about middle of the pack in number of opportunities, but they've got the ratio going in the right direction. All 3 teams really do. The Florida is actually the closest, 13th in opportunities and 10th in opportunities and 13th in goals, having given up 8 goals on 38 attempts. Now the Preds are 3rd in the league in opportunities on the penalty kill, which means they're one of the most penalized teams here in Bridgestone. But where does that compare? Overall, they're 21st in the league. So having the week off really helped their stats here because they were pretty high up. But now, since they've only played 20 games, and I guess that still puts them right in the middle. There's a couple teams that have played 19. A couple that have played 19, 21, 20, 22. So, I guess maybe the Preds were skewed a little bit because they had played more games, and having this time off has actually kind of reduced their record or where they're at. But third, but what hasn't reduced is that they're 3rd in the league and being on the penalty kill at home. Now they're 24th in the league in giving up goals, and so that's good. So, that ratio is going right. It's just too many penalties overall. And like I said, first, the shorthanded goals, the Preds have gotten 1, so is Colorado. So that puts them right in the middle, 13th and 14th. And 2 for Florida puts them 4th in the league, so it's not like there's a lot of shorthanded goals out there. I don't know why I bother to track where that's at. When the number of data points is so small, but I am, at least for now, change things up. How about the power play? The power play, oddly enough, Colorado's power play on the road is awful, 30th in the league. I mean, remember when we were talking about how bad Nashville was? Nashville at home is 19th in the league on the power play, 19.4%, 7 goals on 36 opportunities without giving up a shorthanded goal. Colorado is 30th in the league with 9.7%, 3 goals scored on 31 opportunities, and they've given up a shorthanded goal. So their net ranking is 30, just subtract that out. So net, they're 6.5% effectiveness on the power play. It seems like I run through these numbers and it's like, well, here's this. And then, everything you don't expect to happen. Like Nashville's going to beat Colorado, but Colorado's going to score on the power play. Go figure. But it's going to be in the second period. So, they're going to get the first goal. It's going to be on a power play. It's going to be in the second period. The Preds are going to win the game. Sometimes I think I should just track all of these random predictions I make. I don't think any of them work out. Stamkos did get the winning goal in the first game back in Pittsburgh in Sweden, and I was just saying he's going to get his goals, and he's going to get his goals. But I did predict he'd get a hat trick, and there was a hat trick in that next game, but it was Wood, not. I guess I got the hat trick part right. But anyway, it'd be kind of interesting to write these things down and then track them later, but I don't really feel like it. It's all extemporaneous, and then I'd have to write it down or have somebody in my production staff figure it out. And I don't know. I think I talked too much to begin with. So I don't think that's going to help things. But yeah, so Florida is not that much better on the road. They're 28th in the league at 10.8%, 4 goals on 37 opportunities. So they've had one more goal than Colorado on 6 more opportunities, but they have not given up a shorthanded goal. So that's good. As far as goals to opportunities, run through it here. Let's just start with Nashville because it's the Predators podcast and not a Predators podcast. And should be the Predators podcast. But hey, it's not. Anyway, so the Preds power play, 13th amount of opportunities at home, and 16th in the league in goals. So at least those numbers are close, right? Those numbers are at least close because overall the Preds are 8th in the league in opportunities and 20th in the league in scoring. And that's a pretty big differential, which means, okay, we're not looking at away stats. So here in Nashville, the Preds are actually pretty close. Actually, like middle of the road NHL team on the power play in Nashville. So that's at least that's encouraging, which means that when we go on the road, this is going to be the depressing Preds broadcast. But as far as Florida goes, they're 6th in the league in opportunities and 24th in the league in scoring, which is just an awful ratio. I didn't even do their ratio on the power play overall. I guess I skipped past that. A good reason not to cover it. Because I forgot to do it. Yeah, wow, all the time I spent, and I still didn't get it done. But here, the home I did get done, and Colorado, though 12th amount of opportunities on the road and 31st in scoring on the road. So not as far as the power play goes, neither of the teams coming in are very good on the road in power play situations. And the Preds at home are. So that's good. That's encouraging. The Preds here at home are a better power play team than the two teams coming here are on the road. The penalty kill, we'll look at that kind of comparably. Colorado and Nashville are on equal footing with Florida being a little bit more porous on the penalty kill, but again, 2 shorthanded goals. So all 3. So yeah, Colorado is 4th, Nashville's 4th, Florida is 19th. The net, Colorado stays 4th, Nashville drops to 5th, and Florida comes up to 12th. So, but the penalty kill, they're still in the upper half of the NHL. But as far as the as far as it goes in the NHL, Nashville and Colorado's penalty kill is one of the best in the league in the situation that we're going to have over the weekend with the Preds being at home and the other teams being on the road. So the power play, Preds are better, and Colorado and Nashville on equal footing on the penalty kill. So, hey, I did find something to cheer for. All right, let's get to the goaltenders. Wow. Get to the goaltenders. So Colorado's main goaltender this year is Mr. Scott Wedgwood, a goaltender we traded to them last year. Blackwood started out injured. He had a lower body surgery to start the year and missed the first 3 weeks, started coming back in October. He's gotten a couple of starts. In his absence, Trent Miner has been backing up Wedgwood, but the Colorado's they're on fire. So Wedgwood is 12-1-2, Blackwood is 2-0-1, and Miner is 0-0-2. So Blackwood is the backup right now. Not hard to say how they're going to go forward with Wedgwood. Wedgwood did just get a new contract, and he's been playing well this year, obviously. Or maybe they haven't even. Maybe Colorado has just kept the other team in the defensive zone the whole game. Wedgwood's back there with a cigarette and a beer, going, "Hey guys, can I do something? Somebody bring me a snack." Anyway, So Wedgwood's the primary goaltender right now, and we'll see how that goes over the course of the season. Last year was the year that Colorado made the trade and swapped out both their main and backup goaltenders. I forget, was it San Jose? I forget, but so last year when the Preds played Colorado, we had a different goaltender every time. So Noonan, who now plays for the Preds, was in goal in the first game, which was a Colorado loss. So he was 0-1. They lost 2-5 in Nashville in early November. It was the last game of a 3-game losing streak. In the second game, it was Georgiev, who that was a win for Colorado in overtime. A few days later, November 11th, 3-2 overtime win. It was the second game of a 3-game winning streak in that case. And then in the third game, we get Blackwood. Blackwood was in goal in Colorado December 14th, and so that was a win, 5-2, home team winning all the games last year. Colorado did lose the game on either side of that win. And then in the first game, it was Wedgwood. And that was a win for Nashville, so a loss for Colorado. February 22nd, 1-2 in Nashville. It was the first of a 2-game losing streak for Colorado. As far as who is going to be in goal, it is not going to be Minor. Thursday, Blackwood got his first start that was not part of a back-to-back. So, he's only played 3 games. The first 2 were part of back-to-backs. Wedgwood has been in the last 2. Now, they do have a back-to-back this weekend. So, Blackwood would be playing in any case. Colorado's playing Nashville on Saturday and then Chicago on Sunday. So far, Blackwood has been the back end of all the back-to-backs, and so I expect that to continue. So I think we'll see Wedgwood in goal against Nashville. Yeah, we'll stay with the back-to-back records for the momentum part of it. So I believe Wedgwood versus Nashville. For Florida, Sergei Bobrovsky and Daniil Tarasov. Bobrovsky is 10-5-0. Tarasov is 1-3-1. Last year, Bobrovsky was in goal in the first game. Florida won both, so that was a win for Florida, 6-2 in Sunrise, so in Florida, on November 7th. It was the 6th of a 7-game winning streak, so they were on fire right then. And then the next time we ran into them, they had another 6-game winning streak, I guess 7-game, 6-game. And it was the first game of that one. We kicked that off. They got a 4-1 win here in Nashville back in late February. As far as things go with their goaltenders, Bobrovsky gets about 4-1 for Tarasov. He's played the last 3. They do play Saturday, so I'm thinking Bobrovsky will be playing on Saturday, and so Tarasov will be in goal versus Nashville. For the Predators, UC Saros and Justice Noonan. Skip records because we're skipping records. We're going to skip records. Last year against Colorado, Saros was in goal for all 4 of those. So he was 2-2 last year. For the Preds, the first game broke a 2-game losing streak with that win here in Nashville. Then they lost the next 3. So they lost 2 coming in, lost 3, but they did win the one against Colorado. The second game, which was a loss in Colorado, was the first of a 3-game losing streak. The first 2 of those those games were both in overtime. The third game, the Preds did win game on either side of that game, but did lose to Colorado in Colorado. And then the fourth game was the second of a 2-game winning streak for the Preds. So that was good. So that was against Colorado. Against Florida, Wedgwood was in goal. We lost both of them to Florida last year. Wedgwood was in goal in the first game, 2-6 in Florida. And then Saros was in goal in the second one, 1-4. The first game was the last of a 3-game losing streak, and then the other game was the last of a 2-game losing streak. Noonan, as far as who's going to be in goal, and Noonan's not getting many stars. He did get one the other day, so I'm not exactly sure, but I think because the Preds have been off for 6 days, that Saros is just going to be playing in both of them so he can get back into a rhythm. Yeah. As far as players to watch, it's easy for Colorado if they're wearing a Colorado jersey. Actually, it's really, really distinctive. There are big gaps. So between, as far as goal scores, you got number 29, center Nathan McKinnon, and number 88, center Martin Necas. Those guys have 16 and 13 respectively. And then there's a 5-goal differential to third place. So you've got these two guys at the top and then 5 goals differential. Similarly, in assists, you've got McKinnon and number 8 defenseman Cale Makar, both with 20 assists. 20 assists, and then there's a 5-goal differential to third. Now, just put things in perspective here. They have 20 assists. Top on the Preds is 8. Top for Florida is 11. So, yeah, no kidding. McKinnon's leading the league in points with 36. Necas and Makar both tied at 28 for second. Makar on the ice the most, 25-30, which is 5th in the NHL. Time on ice, he was 4th, and then I guess last night's game he must have taken a break. He dropped to 5th in the NHL. Time on ice. McKinnon is 3rd on the team in ice, 21-38. So you're going to see those guys a lot. As far as shooting goes, McKinnon leads the team with 89. I think there was a big drop-off after that, too. But who cares? Because Necas is shooting at 28.9%. Now, it was 30. I think it was 31% going into last night's game. But he's 28.9%. But remember, he's second on the team with 13 goals. So it's no kidding. 42 shots, 13 goals, 28.9%. That is 18th in the NHL of everybody. Now, the highest people now, 50%. For a while, there was 100, but 50. But in the NHL, 18th in the league. If you just count those with more than 10 shots, he's 4th. 4th in the league in shooting percentage, and he's got 13 goals. Now, again, the leader of the team on Florida has 13, and the leader for Nashville has 8. I'm telling you, all these numbers make it's scary. It's scary seeing Colorado come into Nashville right now. So McKinnon's got 89 shots. He's first, and there's 31 shot difference to second place. So guess what? McKinnon's going to take a shot. Now that at least Forsberg leads the Preds with 61. So McKinnon's got 28 more shots on goal. Leading Florida is 57. So what's that? 32 more shots. So McKinnon, boy, lots of shots. Shooting percentage not there, but 16 goals. So, but Necas's shooting percentage again is exemplary, and the people ahead of him are 6 for 13, 4 for 13, and there was one guy for recognize the name, guy with Vancouver. He's got 12 goals on 40 shots. So Necas 13 goals on 42 shots. So number 88, number 8, number 29. Tighten up. I don't think the Preds have a phrase like that, but I don't think so. It's just mocking people. I hate all the negative cheering. For Florida, much more reasonable team. But lots of really good shooting percentages. There's 3 guys on the team I had to note. Fortunately, one of them is injured. But number 63 left wing Brad Marchand, he's first in goals with 13, second in assists with 10. His point total of 23 is just barely more than the number of assists that McKinnon has. Number 13, center Sam Reichart, second in goals with 11, second in points with 17. He is the center on the ice, the forward on the ice the most, 21-24, fourth on the team. Defenseman Seth Jones has the most ice time, but no other stats to talk about. Reichart also has the most shots, 57, Marchand 54, but Marchand's shooting percentage is 24.1%, so he leads the team with 13 goals on 54 shots. But he's second on the team at 24%. Highest on the team is Cole Schwint, 2 goals on 7 shots, and he's injured. But then you also have left wing A.J. Greer, 4 goals on 14 shots, a 23.5% shooting percentage. So that's a pretty good shooting percentage. Didn't take a lot of shots. That's number 10. So, for the most part, number 63, Brad Marchand, and 13, Sam Reichart. And then keep your eye on number 10 just in case he happens to shoot the puck. One thing that was interesting. Oh, right. So let's go back to. I started looking at the stats for the particular scenarios too. When you take a look at Colorado, let's go back to Colorado, and you look at them on the road. Cale Makar, his shooting percentage goes up to 26.1%, 6 goals on 23 shots. Overall, it's under 20% because I don't note, but on the road, he goes up to 26%. Necas, who's already at 28%, falls to 25%. Falls to 25%. I guess I could have looked that up on a way, but so yeah, the nice thing is you're still the same people. Nobody new to worry about just because they're on the road. But again, Makar and Necas's shooting percentage on the road is off the chart. So yeah, definitely something to worry about and to keep those guys in your mind because it gets a little scary at that point. And taking a quick look, while we're talking about it. Can I do road? Can do it. Let's see. Road percentage, apply filters, and then there's a bunch of people with still with 100. So if we add the filter, let's go down here, add the filter where we take shots 4 per game, penalty kill. Sorry about this. I got it in my head. Am I going to be able, I don't see this. I don't see that particular filter. Face-off win percentage, shots 4. I guess shots 4. Why not? Why would you have a shot against? I don't understand that. But I haven't seen that normally. We'll apply that filter. So if you've got more than 10 shots, of course that didn't work the way I wanted it to. Yeah, okay. Then let's just give up on this one. No, there's Cale Makar, who's 15th, but I did not get because there's people with less than 10 shots. Not sure why that didn't help me out. Oh, that's games played. I didn't want games played. Anyway, so on the road, let's just move on. Makar's stats goes up to 26.1%, and Necas drops to 25%. So you've got 2 people for Colorado. And the thing that I noted was that that with with Florida, you've got Sam Reinhart and the number of shots, 57 first, and then Marchand second. But when on the road, the leader in shots is actually number 17 center Evan Rodriguez with 25. He's only got 40. He's got 45 shots overall, but he's the shot leader for Florida when they're on the road. Now, they've only played 9 games on the road, but that is interesting that it kind of swaps up there. So that was something that I noted and I thought was worth calling out. Yeah. The only difference, with the Preds was that, interestingly enough, when it comes to at home, Stastny leads the team in assists with 6. Overall, Luke Evangelista leads the team with 8, but Stastny actually leads the team with 6 here at the house. Also at the house at Bridgestone. And interestingly enough, Skay now has the most time on ice at home, even though Yossi leads the team still, even though he's injured. And he's got a minute 20 more, but Skay now at Bridgestone has a higher time on ice than Yossi. And then shooting percentage, Bunting is first on the team in shooting percentage here in Nashville at 25%, 3 goals on 12 shots. O'Reilly goes back up to 21.7. O'Reilly is second on the team with 20%, but here at home, 21.7. But that's only good enough for second. Matthew Wood is first on the team in shooting percentage, 20%. I guess O'Reilly and Wood are tied, but at 20%. But when it comes to here at home, things kind of change up a little bit. So that was kind of an interesting thing to see. As far as momentum goes, Colorado is 14-1-5. They are playing in a back-to-back. All of their back-to-backs have been on the road. This is their fourth back-to-back. They had to play Boston and New Jersey, then Vegas and San Jose, Edmonton and Vancouver, and now Nashville and Chicago. So they've had 4 back-to-backs so far this year. Games 9 and 10, 12 and 13, 15 and 16. So they're the backs-to-backs, and their record in the back-to-backs haven't been very good. given that they're 14-1-5 in the back-to-backs, they're 3-1-2. So their one loss has been in a back-to-back situation. It was in the front half of the first one, Boston and in New Jersey. And in that case, Wedgwood was in goal. Minor was in goal in the other game. And that first back-to-back were 2 losses, 1 overtime loss. So they're so they've got 1 loss, 5 overtime losses, and that 1 loss was in a back-to-back on the front end. So they say that even though they're a high-flying team, apparently, at least early in the season, they're not performing as well in back-to-back situations. So that does give Preds a little bit of hope, especially since Colorado's playing away again, and Nashville plays better here in at Bridgestone at least. So Colorado is on a 9-0-1 stretch over the last 10 games, a 7-game winning streak. So Colorado is coming in with a lot of momentum. Won 6-3 last night. So those guys have got things clicking. And so they're looking pretty good. Florida is 11-8-1. They have a 2-game winning streak. They're 6-3-1 in their last 10, which is still pretty good. And then Nashville is 5-9-4, and had their 5-game losing streak broken by the win in Sweden, and then they lost 0-4. I really think this off time is going to make them rusty. I think they're going to come out of the gate a little slow against Colorado. Hopefully not, but I think they're not going to be as sharp. Hopefully not. So I'm not terribly, if you can't tell, I'm not terribly optimistic about Saturday's game. Monday's game, I'm a lot more optimistic about. I think that the Preds have a really good shot at beating Florida. Not so sure about Colorado, and I've called that wrong before, and I would love to be wrong this time. It would be great for the Preds to come out and get a win against Colorado. I just don't think that's going to happen. And but hey, you got to play. That's why you make them play the game, right? Well, I guess this has been a really long podcast. I think the longest one of the season. I definitely need to cut down. Definitely need to cut down. But definitely covering 2 games. So anyway, So 2-game homestand. Nashville Predators play Colorado Avalanche and the Florida Panthers Saturday, Monday at Bridgestone Arena. Thanks for listening. I'm Preston Proctor, and you've been listening to Predators Proclivity.